Okay, let's get into this straight away. Welcome, everybody. Hello, everyone. Happy new moon, solar eclipse, and happy Chinese New Year. Finally, we're in the fire horse. Or the fire horse has come back after 60 years. We're going into this phase in history where the action, where the sovereignty, the independent will is coming forth at a much higher level. Um, It is the 17th of February 2026, and we are now in the new moon. This is recorded like 2 hours after the eclipse, and I just wanted to share the screen and give you some of my interpretations of what this all means to us globally, collectively, individually. Um, There is, let's see here. Uh, so I'm sharing the chart, and you see that it is as always. I thanks to Koji Vihara, that great astrologer in Canada, Swiss astrologer in Canada. I now use the Greenwich um, location in England as uh, when I look at a global chart, when I look at a mundane chart for the whole world, I use Greenwich because it's on the zero meridian and it's also on 51 North 29 minutes. It's almost an exact seventh of the cycle. And unless you didn't know it, I'm born on the seventh day of the seventh month in the year 1963. So for me, the seven has a very important symbolism, and it is, it's both connected to um, Neptune and the moon in a way. So the seventh of the cycle of the circle brings us to this northern latitude. Uh, what we see here in the chart is Cancer rising, the sign of the home of the family is rising, and you see it's the fourth degree if you count it from zero being the first and the one being the second, so forth. This is the fourth degree in Cancer, and that degree in the Sabian symbols, as interpreted by Dane Rudhyar, is a cat arguing with a mouse, which is somewhat a comical picture, because when would a cat argue with a mouse? And he says here it's an attempt of self-justification. And there's so much going on in the world right now that has to do with that, with self-justification and motivating why one power does this and another power does this, and we, the people, are just looking at this show, uh, bewildered and often uh, quite perplexed on the violence, the arrogance, the um, disrespect in so much of communication out there. When we in our own private lives, we have most people are very kind and respectful and treat each other with reverence. So there is some kind of gap uh, in the mirroring of reality. And unfortunately, I think that's because of the mass media being such a biased communicator. I know that when we talk about the Swedish folklore or the Scandinavian Norse folklore and the Vikings or um, their beliefs. There was this huge tree, Yggdrasil, and at the bottom of the tree you had the snake, the serpent, and at the top of the tree there was the eagle, right? Or was it a vulture? I forget, but anyway, it's the communication between these two uh, was done by a squirrel, a squirrel that was running up and down the trunk of the tree and telling the snake or the serpent, this is what the eagle says, and and vice versa, and therefore he was like. He was the conveyor of truth, of the message, of the information, and of course he could uh, taint that or spin it. And we definitely live in a world with a lot of spin doctors that spin the communication in one way or another. And I've been taught these last years or in recent times that do take a step back and observe to see what's unfolding and don't avoid getting pulled into uh, the drama that's that they so much want you to be pulled into and engage in when eh, when it actually will dismantle itself. It will things will come up to surface and all this corruption that we have in the world will be unveiled, revealed by very strong fighters for truth, for light workers, star seeds, whatever we call ourselves, or call these courageous people that really fight for the rights of us and uh, fight for equality. This is the new moon in Aquarius, the sign of equality, of uh, of liberty, of freedom. It's always a cry for truth and freedom in this sign, and you see that it's exactly on up on the mid-heaven. So it's very powerfully positioned here in the 10th house, at the cusp of the 10th house. And this degree, I mentioned it in my last recording, but this degree, the 29th degree of Aquarius, is a butterfly uh, exiting the chrysalis. If I can just get that up to here fast. Um, 29, the 29th degree of Aquarius, a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis, the capacity to utterly transform the character of one's consciousness by radically altering the structural patterns of everyday living and the types of relationships one enters upon. Yeah, it's such a radical shift that's coming now. And it will speed up further, especially with the entry of the horse, of the fire horse. So in this chart, what we see is, of course, we have still um, Pluto here, uh, Astrea, Vesta, Pluto is the transformer. Estrella is the star maiden who helps anyone in need to get to a better state of understanding. Vesta is the internal fire, the sacred fire, the temple. And Mars, you know, Mars, it's the willpower, the Roman god of war in Aquarius with an ideal to fight for, definitely. And then here's Sun and the Moon. So the rest, or the train of planets here in front of the Sun Moon are now in Pisces, and and Pisces being the 12th sign, the sign of the final solution or the synthesis is even more dreamy and nebulous and collective with the borderline issues or with uh, losing itself in the limitless. So here we have to we still need uh, the ability to go inwards to sleep, to dream, to catch up with the time, or just be in the beingness of time that you know the Tao, the Wu Wei, to be in the flow. Mercury is leading, so Venus is conjunct the North Node here. That needs to be mentioned. Venus, the planet of love, exalted in Pisces. This is the sign of her exaltation, where she is definitely displaying unconditional love, and she is with the North Node, the direction of the collective right now is in still in Pisces for another 5 months, and that degree, the ninth degree of Pisces, where Venus is in this uh, new moon chart, is a jockey spurs his horse, intent on outstancing his rivals, uh, intense mobilization of energy and skill and the drive for success in any social performance affected by the competitive spirit. Well, that's a picture which is that Sabian symbol definitely has to do with competition, right? Self-quickening may be a key word. So Venus uh, being in this sign of unconditional love, uh, joining with the collective aim, the spiritual, the soul path, so to speak, of humanity right now, uh, shows um, her swiftness. And yes, she is fast now. She is separating uh, from the sun, and she will become an evening star. Not yet, but in March, she will become an evening star when she's separated enough so that we can see her after sunset. But right now, she's definitely giving us attention to our spiritual path collectively right now is to go with God, Goddess, to go with the light of the source, the divine, and let go of too much criticism, too much mind control, really to have that ability to trust. And you know, the three cornerstones of or the three first steps on the ladder of consciousness is patience, trust, and faith. And all these resonate, or at least trust and faith resonate very well with Pisces. Um, Patience is more Saturnian, and maybe we have patience in Aquarius. We definitely have it in Capricorn. So there we are on the path. We're definitely on the path. Then I also want to mention here that uh, Mercury is Mercury is ahead, is also still running, separating from the sun, but he is coming to a halt on the 26th. So he's now in a shady area where he will turn retrograde on the 26th of February and go retrograde for 3 weeks. I'm not analyzing that in this recording, but I'm just saying that this is coming up, and Mercury will spend an unusual long time in the sign of Pisces, where Mercury can be sometimes spaced out because Mercury rules the opposite sign of Virgo. So Mercury is is our intellect, our mind, and since he's in the opposing sign of his rulership and of his exaltation too, here in Pisces, he can get off track by too much emotional stuff or too much blurriness that there is a need to focus. So I interpret that we are again, we have to trust our feelings, but those feelings have to be anchored in our hearts so we don't get uh, yeah, so we don't get fooled, because there's that too, but easy to get fooled or yeah, uh, taken behind the actual truth. So this is this is definitely an issue right now too, to have the discernment of Virgo's energy, where the South Node is, the South Lunar Node in Virgo talks about there is still importance to have a steady foot in an ability to discern. And if I am contradicting myself, I hope you understand that that's only a mirror of that. There's so much going on, multitudes of uh, facts and feelings that are evolving that we have to balance. And in astrology, you can use that balancing by looking in polarities like Virgo, Pisces, or Aquarius, Leo. So you have the balancing counterpart in the opposing sign. Um, I also want to mention here that Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is squaring this new moon solar eclipse. So that gives us also a clear sign. I just got the picture that we've been on yellow for a long time, or we've had that yellow light, and it's about to turn green. And this is another signal in that direction that it will very soon turn green, or maybe it just has turned green, because we will move into 2026 much stronger now. And Uranus uh, still in Taurus here, exiting Taurus on the 26th of April, moving towards Sedna, the ocean goddess. Uranus is the god of sudden awakening, of insight, of intuition, of shock. It's the sky god and the revolutionary. And of course, he's the ruler of Aquarius and of this whole new moon. There is another opposing force to where the Earth is here in Leo. We also find the asteroid Magdalena, and that has also come into me into my knowing lately that the power of Maria Magdalena, who was one a very strong teacher alongside Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. and that she was, excuse me, she was so much frowned upon. She took so much negative projection, and she was called a whore and whatnot. Was she called by the uh, by those forces that were threatened by her truth telling, because she was a truth sayer of an enormous capacity. And along with Jesus, they worked, they had 70 disciples each, and they worked alongside each other, teaching uh, the people about the unconditional love and about forgiveness and about moving away from shame and guilt and to embrace uh, the voice in the heart. Uh, but for that, she took an enormous amount of criticism and I mean they the church, they wiped her out of the records, right? So the church doesn't teach that Jesus and Maria Magdalena had a daughter, Sarah, and we have to look elsewhere to find those records. But anyways, she is very strong right now in this new moon chart, Chinese New Year, fire horse, square with Uranus at the apex, and Magdalena with the Earth opposing the new moon, sun and the moon. It is a message of that it stops uh, the the blaming of women, or the censoring of the feminine energy, the silencing of those uncomfortable truths about what our leaders have been up to, what the corporations have been up to, what was really going on out there on that scene where there is so much I don't know what to call it, but it's a show, it's a theater, and it has nothing to do with the opening of the inner chamber and the searching for truth within ourselves. We have to turn in, we have to tune in to ourselves in these times of change. But that's about it. That what I wanted to say today. I don't want to be too uh, long. You can see that Jupiter is in the first house. Jupiter in Cancer here is in the first house of the chart. So that also connects us with the planet of wisdom and of expansion. So that's also a very positive sign. And then in a few days' time, on the 20th, we will have the very, very renowned or yeah, so much talked about Saturn catching up with Neptune, and I will do a recording on that. I will do a recording on that. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed these ponderings of mine, and blessings to all of you. Uh, we're in the new time now, and it is so exciting to be alive and the things that we can do. Everything is possible if we connect to Metatron, or if we connect to those guides and angels and relatives up there, whoever you have that is on your team helping you tune in and let these things come up and develop in these so exciting times. We are free. We are sovereign. We are equals. We are human beings, which is also an amazing experience to incarnate as a human being on the lovely, wonderful planet of Gaia, Mother Earth. So, with that, I bid you a good day wherever you are on the planet. Have a wonderful new moon. Namaste. Namaste.